My name is Brian Harris. I'm a battalion chief with the Mount Vernon Fire Department, and I'm also the training officer. The most beneficial thing we get out of the live fire structure that's donated to us is real-life training scenarios, and the fact that I can't simulate a real fire in a training facility versus what I can in a real building. So we get to see how a Class A fire, which is ordinary combustible material, works inside of an actual house, and how the heat builds, the fire builds, the smoke builds in that room, how it creates thermal layering, where a safe zone is, where you're down low versus where it's too hot and smoky up high and immediate dangerous to life and health. Thermal layering is when you have heat build up inside of a room, let's say in a house. And as things get hot and you have incomplete combustion of smoke and gases, that's going to rise to the top because it's lighter than air. So much like you have a cloud layer inversion on the outside in the atmosphere, you have the same thing happen on the inside of a building that's on fire, where the hot gases and the incomplete combustion and the smoke move up to the top. The cool air stays down below, and then you get this layer in the room, and it's a real indelible marker that you can see clearly when you're inside that room, that the clean air, good air, is on the bottom, and the hot, bad air that you can't breathe in is on top. One method we use to combat that, to make it more tenable, is hydraulic ventilation. We'll conduct that by opening a window or breaking one out if necessary. And we open a water stream up in a fog pattern that fills the window or the exit that you've created, and you flow water through that. And that water gathers all of that smoke and heat and helps push it out of the window, increasing your visibility in that structure or the room that you're in. A lot of times in a fire, it's not contained just to that room. And one thing I learned a long time ago when I was a new firefighter is that fires burn up and buildings burn down. So we always want to look in the concealed spaces above where we are to see if there's been any fire extension. A lot of times in these older construction homes, like the one that we were in on that Saturday, you have a balloon frame construction and there's just open voids in the walls that go straight up to the ceiling. So it's really easy for fire to travel that way. You get a lot of heat that moves up and convection currents inside of the house to get into that attic space. So provide that once you knock down the main fire, the seat of the real heat in a real structure is paramount, and not something that we get to do very often.